If you enjoy these peaceful journeys into the mysteries of your mind and the universe, a gentle like and a subscribe truly helps this quiet community grow. It's completely free, like counting constellations. Tonight, we'll gently explore how your mind experiences the curious dance of time, especially as you drift into sleep. We're in no rush, just curiosity and calm. Beyond the grand, overarching rhythm of our circadian clock, a master conductor dictating our daily rise and fall, our brains also possess a remarkable and incredibly flexible ability to estimate much shorter, more fleeting durations. This is the inner stopwatch, a silent, ceaseless mechanism that shapes our moment-to-moment experience of time, often in ways that defy the external tick-tock of a clock. Think for a moment about those common, yet profoundly insightful, everyday experiences that highlight this internal temporal elasticity, the seemingly endless wait for a kettle to finally boil, its anticipated whistle, a distant promise that appears to take an eternity to materialize, each passing second stretching into a miniature eternity. Or, conversely, consider how a single, solitary minute, when you're caught in a spiral of anxiety, gripping fear, or breathless anticipation, can expand and stretch, feeling as vast and unyielding as an entire hour. This more granular, subjective, and adaptable sense of timing isn't governed by the rigid, master suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN, which keeps our grand 24-hour cycle. Instead, it's orchestrated by a diffuse, intricate, and astonishingly collaborative network of brain regions working in concert. A silent committee within your skull. This network includes the cerebellum, a marvel of coordination and precision, nestled at the back of your brain, traditionally associated with motor control, but increasingly recognized for its role in timing subtle movements and thoughts. There's also the basal ganglia, a deep, ancient cluster of structures within the cerebral hemispheres, orchestrating the initiation and control of movement, learning, and habit formation, now understood to play a crucial part in our internal temporal estimations. And, crucially, various parts of the prefrontal cortex, the seat of executive function, planning, and higher-level thought, which seems to integrate and interpret the signals from these other regions, constructing our conscious experience of duration. It's as if these diverse neural regions collectively operate a sophisticated THF, albeit invisible, mental stopwatch, continuously accumulating internal ticks, subtle neural pulses or oscillations that serve as the fundamental subjective units of our perceived duration. These ticks are not uniform or mechanical. They are fluid, influenced by the very state of our minds and bodies. Interestingly, the pace and density of these perceived ticks can be profoundly influenced by our cognitive and emotional states, creating a fascinating dance between internal processing and external reality. The more intensely and narrowly you focus your attention directly on the passage of time itself, perhaps because you're bored, impatient, or simply counting down seconds, the more of these internal ticks your brain seems to register and consciously attend to. This heightened awareness of accumulation thereby makes the actual chronological duration feel significantly longer, almost drawn out to an agonizing degree. Conversely, when your attention is delightfully distracted, perhaps engrossed in a captivating story, deeply immersed in a creative task, or lost in a state of flow, fewer of these temporal markers are consciously noted or encoded. This beautiful absorption causes the very same chronological duration to seemingly shrink and pass by in a blink, leaving you to wonder where the hours went. It's the magic of engagement, making time disappear. Furthermore, the emotional landscape of our inner world plays an incredibly powerful and often counterintuitive role in this temporal alchemy. Moments of intense fear, overwhelming stress, or acute danger, for instance, can flood the brain with a torrent of heightened sensory and emotional information, as well as a cascade of neurochemicals like adrenaline and cortisol. This heightened State of arousal leads to an accelerated processing of information, causing a torrent of perceived ticks to be processed, making time drag with excruciating slowness. The classic example is the perception of time slowing down during a car accident or a sudden fall in reality. The event takes milliseconds, but our brain's hyperprocessing makes it feel like an extended sequence. In stark contrast, periods of pure joy, deep engagement, or the blissful state of flow can lead to a remarkable compression of perceived time. In these moments, our brains become so absorbed in the experience that the internal stopwatch seems to vanish, leaving only the seamless, uninterrupted presence of the activity itself, making hours feel like mere minutes. This intricate interplay between attention, emotion, and internal neural processing reveals that our perception of time is not a passive reception of objective, external chronological markers, but a dynamic, active, and deeply personal construction, perpetually shaped and reshaped by the intricate currents of our consciousness. It's a testament to the brain's incredible ability to mold reality, even the most fundamental aspect of it. Perhaps nowhere is the profound and wonderfully baffling distortion of time more vividly and dramatically evident than within the rich, often surreal tapestry of our dreams. This is a realm where the conventional rules of chronology often dissolve, allowing moments to stretch into apparent eternities or entire lifetimes to unfold within a mere blink of an eye. Have you ever awoken from a particularly vivid dream, feeling a profound disorientation? Absolutely certain in the first groggy moments that you had experienced days, perhaps even an entire lifetime of intricate events, complex narratives, and profound emotional arcs within that nocturnal landscape, only to then glance at your bedside clock, or perhaps the faint light filtering through your curtains, and realize with a jolt that mere minutes, or even just a few fleeting seconds, had actually passed in the linear, waking world. This phenomenon of dream time distortion is a universally shared and endlessly fascinating aspect of the human experience, a powerful testament to the mind's incredible capacity for temporal alchemy, when it operates free from the rigid constraints of conscious awareness. It's a compelling reminder that our perception of time is far more flexible and internally constructed than we typically assume during our waking hours. During the most vibrant and enigmatic phase of our sleep, known as rapid eye movement, or REM sleep, the brain enters a state of heightened activity, often mirroring or even exceeding its neurological output during active wakefulness. In this unique and deeply creative neurological landscape, the brain tirelessly generates and navigates incredibly complex, often bizarre and surreal narratives, weaving together fragmented memories, raw emotions, and imaginative leaps into storylines that, however illogical they may seem upon waking, feel entirely coherent and emotionally resonant within the dream itself. This intense internal activity, coupled with the absence of external anchoring, plays a crucial role in how our brain manipulates time. While our scientific understanding of the precise mechanisms behind this specific temporal compression or expansion within dreams is still evolving, a mystery that continues to intrigue neuroscientists and philosophers alike, it's widely theorized that the dreaming brain processes and encodes information in a fundamentally different manner from its waking counterpart. It operates unshackled, delightfully free from the linear, cause and defect constraints that rigidly govern our conscious perception of time and sequence in the profound silence and sensory deprivation of the dream state. The mind is stripped of its usual external chronological cues. There is no sunlight to mark the dawn or the passing of the day, no clock to chime the hour or measure the minutes, no predictable sequence of real-world events to anchor and sequence our experiences. Without these familiar external anchors, the brain is liberated to prioritize internal experiences, narrative coherence, and raw emotional intensity over a strict linear adherence to chronological duration. The sheer volume and rapid succession of dream images, thoughts, and emotional shifts can create a powerful illusion of prolonged time, as if countless experiences are being crammed into a compressed temporal space. Conversely, a dream can be so intensely focused on a single, vivid moment, a particular feeling, or a repeating image, that it feels drawn out to an agonizing degree, seeming to unfold over an eternity. It is as if the dream state allows the mind to explore a profoundly malleable, elastic form of temporality, where a fleeting sequence of neural firings or a brief burst of brain activity can be perceived as an extended day. Multifaceted journey. Blurring the conventional boundaries between one moment and the next, consider the theories attempting to unravel this temporal puzzle. Some suggest that the brain, during REM sleep, is engaged in a form of rapid information processing, consolidating memories and processing emotions at an accelerated rate. This intense internal activity, though quick in real time, feels extensive, because so much cognitive work is being done. Others propose that it's the lack of external validation for time passing that allows dreams to feel so expansive, without sensory input confirming the minute-by-minute progression. Our subjective internal experience becomes the sole determinant of duration. Furthermore, the emotional intensity of dreams often correlates with perceived duration. A stressful dream can feel longer because of the heightened physiological and psychological arousal. This subjective reality highlights that time, in its most personal sense, is not merely a given, but a complex construction of our own neural architecture, a testament to the mind's profound ability to create and inhabit its own temporal landscapes. Even when the rest of the world is silently sleeping, this deep dive into dream time also offers a fascinating parallel to altered states of consciousness induced by meditation, deep contemplation, or even certain psychotropic experiences, where the conventional sense of time often dissolves, moments expand or contract, and a sense of timelessness can emerge. The dream state, in essence, is our nightly, naturally occurring venture into such altered temporal perceptions. It's a reminder that our brains are not merely passive recipients of time's arrow, but active participants in its experience, capable of stretching and compressing its very fabric within the confines of our own minds. This inherent flexibility in our temporal perception during sleep underscores the idea that time, in its most personal and lived sense, is profoundly subjective, a testament to the continuous, subtle construction of reality within our own consciousness, even when the body is in its deepest rest. It's a quiet testament to the boundless creativity of the sleeping mind, constantly redefining the very moments of existence. As we journey through the intricate tapestry of life, from the boundless curiosities of childhood to the reflective wisdom of our later years, many of us inevitably notice another peculiar, almost universally experienced distortion of time: the unsettling sensation that time itself seems to accelerate as we grow older. This isn't merely a fleeting thought, but a deeply felt perception that often sparks contemplation and conversation. Recall, if you can, those seemingly endless summers of childhood, stretching out before us like vast, sun-drenched canvases, each day overflowing with new discoveries, boundless energy, and the sweet, lingering scent of freedom. Weeks felt like months, and entire seasons felt like epochs. Yet now, in the swift passage of adulthood, entire years can seem to zip by in a mere blink, the seasons blurring into an indistinct flow, leaving us to wonder where the time truly went. This curious acceleration is a phenomenon that cognitive scientists, psychologists, and philosophers have pondered for centuries, offering several compelling theories that attempt to unravel this subtle yet pervasive shift in our temporal perception. It highlights that time is not a fixed external current, but a deeply internalized and continuously recalibrated experience. One of the most widely discussed and intuitively relatable theories for this Temporal acceleration revolves around the concept of novelty versus routine. Consider the world through the eyes of a child. Every single day is an explosion of newness. A leaf turning color, the texture of a new toy, the taste of an unfamiliar food. A new word learned, a novel interaction with the world. Each moment is densely packed with fresh, unparalleled experiences. The brain, acting as an eager archivist, meticulously logs all this novel information, creating rich, detailed memories. The more distinct and unique files the brain has to process and store within a given period, the more information it perceives as having occurred, thereby making that duration feel significantly longer. A summer vacation for a child is an encyclopedic volume of firsts, making it feel stretched and expansive. In stark contrast, as we transition into adulthood, our lives often, quite naturally, settle into established routines. Our days become less saturated with genuine novelty. We commute the same routes, perform familiar tasks, interact with the same people, and our brains, in their efficiency, begin to compress these repeated, predictable experiences. They require less conscious processing and are encoded with less vivid detail in our memories. This reduced density of novel information within a given chronological period leads to a cognitive compression, causing time to feel like it is passing more quickly, as if skipping through familiar chapters. Another fascinating, albeit more speculative, theory suggests a biological slowdown in our internal cognitive processing with age. Imagine your brain as a magnificent, complex computer, constantly processing information, sensations, and thoughts. Some researchers propose that the internal clocks, or the rate of neural processing within our brains, might subtly, yet inexorably, slow down as we age. If the rate at which your brain perceives and processes discrete moments or ticks diminishes, then fewer of these internal temporal markers would be accumulated within the same objective chronological period. This means that an hour, while still 60 minutes on the external clock, be registered by your aging brain as containing fewer internal events or ticks than it would have during your youth. Consequently, that fixed external duration would feel subjectively shorter, contributing to the perception of time accelerating. This theory touches upon the delicate interplay between the physical machinery of the brain and our subjective experience of reality, suggesting that the very pace of our internal consciousness might undergo a subtle, age-related transformation. Furthermore, powerful contributing factor to this phenomenon lies in the concept of proportionality. When you are 5 years old, a single year represents a colossal 20% of your entire lived existence. Every birthday marks a monumental leap in experience, understanding, and personal growth. That year is a vast, significant chunk of your entire life story. However, as you reach the age of 50, that same single year now constitutes a mere 2% of your accumulated life experience. The proportion of time that a given unit of duration represents in relation to your total lived experience shrinks dramatically. This fundamental shift in scale, while mathematically simple, has a profound psychological impact. As each successive year becomes a smaller and smaller fraction of our accumulated past, it feels less significant, less monumental, and therefore, it is perceived as passing more swiftly. This concept suggests that our subjective experience of time is not purely absolute, but deeply relational, always measured against the backdrop of our personal history and the ever-expanding timeline of our lives beyond these core theories. Other subtle factors contribute to time's perceived acceleration with age. The shift in our attention and focus plays a significant role. As children, our attention is broadly distributed, soaking in every detail of the world. As adults, our focus often narrows to immediate responsibilities and familiar patterns. The density of memories also contributes. Childhood is filled with firsts that form vivid, distinct memories, while adult life can become more routine, leading to fewer novel memories per unit of time. This creates a psychological compression of the past, making it feel less extended. Understanding these various perspectives helps us appreciate that our experience of time is a complex, multi-layered construct, not merely a passive reception of external ticks, but a dynamic, ever-changing internal landscape. Profoundly influenced by our developmental stage, our cognitive processes, and the very structure of our lives. It reminds us that time is not just something we live through, but something we continuously create and perceive within the boundless theater of our own minds. Here is main content section 4. Relativity's embrace, time dilation and space-time's gentle bend. Further expanding the script for your 2-hour video on the Sleepster channel, the Gentle Distortion of Time. How your brain measures moments while you sleep, continued from previous sections, ... Main content section 4. Relativity's embrace, time dilation, and space-time's gentle bend. While our previous discussions have gently guided us through the subjective, internal distortions of time within the human mind, let us now broaden our gaze to a realm where time itself is not merely perceived differently, but genuinely behaves differently, as revealed by the profound insights of Albert Einstein. In the early 20th century, this quiet genius, with a mind that danced with thought experiments and elegant equations, revolutionized our understanding of space and time, unveiling a universe far more fluid and interconnected than anyone had ever dared to imagine. His theories of relativity, both special and general, didn't just tweak our concepts of motion. They fundamentally resculpted the very fabric of reality, showing that time is not an absolute, unwavering constant, but rather a flexible, dynamic dimension intricately woven into the tapestry of space. This revelation moves beyond mere perception. It speaks to the objective, physical nature of time's distortion, where clocks genuinely tick at different rates depending on speed and gravity, a concept known as time dilation. First, let's settle into the serene conceptual space of special relativity, which Einstein unveiled in 1905. Imagine two gentle cosmic travelers. One is drifting peacefully in the vast stillness of space, while the other embarks on a journey aboard a spaceship accelerating to incredibly high speeds, approaching the universal speed limit of light itself, what Einstein's equations beautifully demonstrated and what countless experiments have since confirmed with breathtaking precision, is that for the traveler moving at immense velocity, time will actually slow down relative to the one who remains still. Their clocks will tick more slowly. Their heartbeats will literally occur at a less frequent pace. Their very aging process will be gently, subtly retarded. This isn't an illusion or a trick of perception. It is a fundamental property of space-time itself. Time, in this context, is not a separate river flowing independently, but rather a stream that adjusts its current based on your motion through the universe. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. This profound idea means that if you were to somehow spend years traveling near the speed of light and then return to Earth, you would find that far more time had passed for everyone you left behind. Your personal clock would have genuinely experienced fewer moments, a remarkable and humbling testament to the universe's elegant mechanics. The implications of this gentle bending of time due to velocity ripple through our modern world, far beyond the realm of theoretical physics. Consider the humble GPS satellites orbiting Earth. They are constantly moving at high speeds relative to us on the ground. If their internal clocks were not meticulously adjusted for the effects of special relativity, slowing down ever so slightly due to their speed, your navigation system would accumulate errors of about 7 microseconds per day. While that might sound minuscule, it would quickly translate into positioning errors of several kilometers, rendering GPS utterly useless for precise navigation. So, every time your smartphone calmly guides you to a destination, you are subtly interacting with a real-world demonstration of Einstein's time dilation, a testament to how the seemingly abstract principles of the universe are deeply embedded in our everyday lives. This everyday application helps ground the extraordinary concept of time dilation, showing it's not just a philosophical curiosity, but a fundamental aspect of reality we constantly account for. Then, Einstein expanded his masterpiece with General Relativity in 1915, introducing gravity into the cosmic ballet. Here, the concept of time becomes even more profoundly intertwined with the fabric of space-time itself. Einstein proposed that massive objects, like planets, stars, and galaxies, don't just exert an invisible pull of gravity. Instead, they bend the very fabric of space-time around them. Imagine space-time not as an empty, rigid stage, but as a vast, pliable trampoline. When you place a heavy bowling ball representing a star on it, the trampoline surface space-time dips and curves. Now, if you roll a marble representing a planet nearby, it doesn't get pulled by the bowling ball. Instead, it rolls into the dip created by the bowling ball's mass. In the same way, gravity isn't a force pulling us down, but rather a manifestation of the curvature of space-time caused by mass and energy. And crucially, this curvature doesn't just affect space. It affects time as well. This leads to gravitational time dilation, the closer you are to a massive object. And thus, the deeper you are in a gravitational well, the slower time will tick for you. Conversely, the further away you are from that massive object, the faster time will tick. For instance, clocks on Earth's surface tick ever so slightly slower than clocks on GPS satellites orbiting hundreds of kilometers above us, because the satellites are in a weaker gravitational field. This effect, though tiny in our everyday experience, is just as real as time dilation due to speed. In fact, for GPS to function accurately, both the special relativistic slowing due to speed and the general relativistic speeding up due to weaker gravity must be precisely calculated and combined. This delicate dance of cosmic mathematics ensures your seamless navigation. These two aspects of time dilation, due to velocity and gravity, elegantly reveal that time is not a universal, fixed measure, but a deeply personal one, experienced uniquely by every observer based on their journey through the curved, dynamic theater of space-time. This profound realization that even the seemingly unyielding flow of moments can be stretched and compressed by the universe itself invites us to a deeper, more humble appreciation of the cosmos and our place within its ever-unfolding story. Having gently floated through the grand cosmic distortions of time as revealed by Einstein's relativity, where speed and gravity subtly stretch and compress moments, let us now delve even deeper. We turn our curious gaze to the most minuscule, most fundamental scales of reality, the quantum realm. Here, the comfortable, intuitive understanding of time that we rely on in our everyday lives begins to unravel, revealing a universe far stranger and more paradoxical than any clock could ever measure. At the heart of quantum mechanics, the theory that governs the behavior of atoms and subatomic particles, time doesn't behave like the steady, continuous flow we perceive. Instead, it becomes a flickering, ambiguous, and deeply mysterious entity, challenging our very notions of chronology and existence. This is where the whispers of time become almost imperceptible, hinting at layers of reality beyond our grasp. One of the most startling aspects of quantum time is the concept of its potential non-existence as a fundamental entity. In classical physics, time is a clear, independent variable, a backdrop against which events unfold. But in some interpretations of quantum gravity, the very equations that describe the universe at its most fundamental level, the equations that would unify quantum mechanics with general relativity, seem to suggest a curious absence of time as a direct, observable quantity. This doesn't mean time ceases to exist for us in our macroscopic world. Rather, it implies that our experience of time might be an emergent phenomenon, a statistical average, or a perceived flow that arises from more fundamental, timeless interactions at the quantum level. Imagine a vast, intricate tapestry. From a distance, you see a clear pattern and direction, but up close, you only see individual threads interwoven without any inherent flow in themselves. Similarly, the flickering moments at the quantum scale might not possess an inherent temporal order, yet their collective dance gives rise to the arrow of time we experience. This idea is sometimes encapsulated in the problem of time in quantum gravity, where the universe's fundamental state seems static, leading some physicists to question if time is a primary ingredient of reality or merely a perception. Consider the role of quantum entanglement, a phenomenon so bizarre that Einstein himself famously called it spooky action at a distance. When two particles become entangled, they remain connected in such a way that the state of one instantaneously influences the state of the other, no matter how far apart they are in space. This instantaneous connection challenges our conventional understanding of time, as it seems to bypass the speed limit of light, suggesting a kind of timeless correlation. Furthermore, in some quantum experiments, the order of events themselves can become ambiguous. Particles can appear to travel through time backwards or exist in a superposition of paths, defying a clear, linear progression. For instance, in delayed choice experiments, a choice made in the future can seemingly influence the path a photon took in the past. This isn't science fiction. It's the perplexing reality of the quantum realm, where cause and effect can lose their conventional temporal relationship, and the very sequence of moments can become blurred, existing in a probabilistic state. Until observed, another profound challenge to our intuitive sense of time comes from the Heisenberg uncertainty principle itself, which we touched upon in our atom journey. While most famously applied to position and momentum, it also has a lesser-known counterpart that involves energy and time. This version suggests that the more precisely you know the energy of a quantum system, the less precisely you can know the duration for which it possesses that energy, and vice versa. This isn't about measurement error. It's a fundamental fuzziness inherent in the universe at its smallest scales. It implies that at the quantum level, moments themselves are not perfectly defined. There's an inherent indeterminacy, a subtle flicker in the very fabric of existence. Imagine a tiny quantum clock. If you know its energy precisely, its tick-tock rate becomes uncertain. If you define its tick-tock precisely, its energy becomes uncertain. This fundamental ambiguity suggests that time isn't a continuous, infinitely divisible river flowing smoothly, but perhaps more like a stream composed of discrete, tiny, uncertain droplets, each flickering in and out of precise definition. Furthermore, some quantum theories propose the existence of a fundamental, indivisible unit of time, known as Planck time, approximately 1043 seconds. Below this scale, the very concept of time, as we understand it, is theorized to lose meaning, giving way to quantum foam, a bubbling, probabilistic chaos where space-time itself is no longer smooth but grainy and turbulent. If this is true, then time, at its deepest level, is not infinitely continuous, but quantized, existing as discrete, flickering moments, like individual frames in a cosmic film, rather than a continuous reel. This perspective profoundly reshapes our understanding, suggesting that the smoothness of time we experience is an illusion, an emergent property that arises from the colossal number of these tiny, flickering quanta interacting at the unimaginably vast scale of our everyday lives. It's a reminder that the world we perceive is a macroscopic average, built upon a foundation of fundamental uncertainty and surprising behaviors. This journey into quantum time reveals that the universe, at its most granular level, is far more subtle and fluid than our classical intuitions allow. It suggests that our steady, linear experience of time may be a comforting construct that arises from the collective behavior of countless particles and fields. each individually existing in a shimmering state of temporal ambiguity. The whispers of time at this scale are not distinct tick-tocks, but rather a constant probabilistic hum, a background orchestra of flickering moments that coalesce into the arrow of time we follow. This profound realization that even the most fundamental aspect of our existence might be an emergent property of the quantum realm invites a deeper sense of wonder and humility as we contemplate the layers of reality that shape our experience even when we are quietly resting. We have explored how our minds bend time subjectively and how the fabric of space-time itself curves and stretches under the influence of gravity and motion, and even how time flickers at the quantum foam. Yet, through all these fascinating distortions and complexities, one fundamental aspect of time remains stubbornly constant in our everyday experience: its relentless, unidirectional march forward. We remember the past, we live in the present, and we anticipate the future. We never see broken cups spontaneously reassemble, nor do we witness water flowing uphill from a finished shower. This seemingly obvious, yet profoundly mysterious quality of time is known as the arrow of time. It is the cosmic pointer that dictates the direction of all events, moving us inexorably from order to disorder, from birth to growth, and from life to its eventual end. Despite the elegant equations of physics often working perfectly well if time were reversed, the universe around us, and indeed within us, adheres to this one-way street. At the heart of the cosmic arrow of time lies the concept of entropy, perhaps one of the most fundamental and far-reaching principles in all of physics, gracefully encapsulated by the second law of thermodynamics. This law, in its simplest and most poetic form, states that in any isolated system, the total amount of disorder, or entropy, can only increase over time, or at best, remain constant. It never decreases. Imagine a pristine, perfectly organized deck of cards. With each shuffle, each disturbance, the deck inevitably moves towards a state of greater disarray, a more random arrangement. You never spontaneously observe a shuffled deck sorting itself back into perfect order. Similarly, if you drop a delicate glass, it shatters into countless pieces, and the shards scatter across the floor. This act dramatically increases the system's entropy, its disorder. The second law dictates that those pieces will never spontaneously reassemble themselves into a whole glass, perfectly restored. This ceaseless drive towards increasing entropy, this fundamental tendency of the universe to move from states of lower disorder to higher disorder, is what gives time its unmistakable direction. It is the underlying physical mechanism that ensures the past is truly distinct from the future, gently guiding the universe toward a state of ever-increasing chaos, a slow, majestic unraveling. Beyond this thermodynamic arrow of time, there are other arrows that reinforce time's forward march, each offering a unique perspective on its unwavering direction. Consider the cosmological arrow of time. Our universe began with the Big Bang, a moment of unimaginable density, heat, and incredibly low entropy, a state of profound order, or at least highly concentrated energy. Since that singular event, the universe has been continuously expanding and cooling, driven by the forces that shape its evolution. This expansion is a process of increasing disorder, as matter and energy spread out across vast cosmic distances. The universe becomes less dense, more diffuse, and its entropy continues to rise. The very expansion of space-time provides a clear, large-scale direction for time, ensuring that the universe moves from a hot, compact beginning towards a cooler, more expansive, and ultimately more disordered future. This cosmological progression is a grand, sweeping narrative that aligns perfectly with the entropic flow, lending a cosmic weight to time's one-way nature. Then there is the radiative arrow of time. This is evident in the way electromagnetic Waves, such as light and radio waves, expand outwards from their source. When a star emits light, it radiates outwards into space, spreading its energy across vast distances. We always observe the light expanding outwards. We never see it spontaneously converging inwards onto a star from all directions. This outbound flow of radiation is another subtle but consistent indicator of time's direction. We see the ripples expand but never contract. We hear a sound dissipate but never coalesce from distant echoes. This ubiquitous phenomenon reinforces the idea that energy dispersal and the spread of information are inherently unidirectional, intimately tied to the arrow of time, demonstrating how fundamental physical processes dictate a forward flow. Perhaps most intimately, there is the psychological arrow of time woven into the very fabric of our consciousness. We remember the past. We form intentions and make plans for the future. Our memories are records of events that have already transpired, etched into the neural pathways of our brains. We cannot remember the future, nor can we undo the past. This asymmetry of memory and anticipation deeply defines our subjective experience of time. While physics describes the mechanisms of time, our consciousness experiences its relentless progression. We perceive the passage of moments as a continuous flow, each new moment replacing the last, irrevocably moving away from what was and towards what will be. This psychological arrow is influenced by how our brains encode and retrieve information. Our experiences accumulating in a linear fashion that creates a personal sense of history and direction. It's a profound connection between the grand cosmic laws of physics and the intimate, subjective reality of our inner lives. The concept of the arrow of time, especially through the lens of entropy, offers a comforting, if sometimes melancholic, understanding of the universe. It tells us that change is inherent, that things naturally tend towards a state of greater diffusion and less distinction. While this might sound like a march towards ultimate cosmic boredom, a universe where all energy is evenly spread out, and nothing more can happen, it is also the very force that allows for life, for growth, for creativity, and for the vast complex structures we see around us, including ourselves. For order, in a local sense, can and does emerge, but only at the cost of increasing disorder elsewhere. Our own bodies, magnificent examples of highly organized, low-entropy systems, constantly fight against this universal tendency, consuming energy and creating waste to maintain their intricate structure. This reminds us that life itself is a temporary, beautiful defiance of the cosmic arrow, a local bubble of order in an expanding sea of increasing disorder. The arrow of time, then, is not a cruel master, but the fundamental rhythm of existence, ensuring that every moment is new, every experience unique, and that the universe, in its grand, slow unraveling, always moves gracefully forward. Here is main content section 7, Time and Consciousness, the Present Moment's Unfolding Mystery. Continuing the detailed script for your 2-hour video on the Sleepster channel, The Gentle Distortion of Time, How Your Brain Measures Moments While You Sleep, continued from previous sections, closing parenthesis, main content, section 7, Time and Consciousness. The present moment's unfolding mystery, Wev gently drifted through the cosmic stretches of time and the subtle, quantum flickers at the universe's smallest scales, recognizing that time is far more complex than a simple linear progression. Now, let us turn our gaze inward to the most intimate and elusive aspect of time, its profound connection to our consciousness, specifically the unfolding mystery of the present moment. What precisely is this now that we inhabit this fleeting sliver of existence that continuously slips from our grasp, always becoming the past even as we experience it? Is it a fixed point, a boundary between what was and what will be, or is it a dynamic, internally constructed experience, unique to each conscious mind? This question lies at the very heart of both philosophy and neuroscience. inviting us to contemplate the elusive nature of our subjective reality. The present moment, for all its apparent immediacy, is far from a simple, objective slice of chronological time. It is a continuously refreshed and actively created phenomenon within the intricate machinery of our own awareness. Consider how our brains construct this now. It's not merely the latest second on a clock. Neuroscientists and cognitive psychologists understand the present as a temporal window, a short duration of time, perhaps a few hundred milliseconds up to a few seconds, that our brains perceive as a single, unified chunk of experience. Within this window, sensory inputs, what we see, hear, feel, thoughts, and memories are seamlessly integrated into a coherent whole. If this window were to narrow, the world would appear as a dizzying, fragmented series of disconnected snapshots. If it were too wide, we might struggle to distinguish between truly separate events, losing our grasp on immediate reality. This temporal binding, the brain's remarkable ability to stitch together discrete sensory inputs into a continuous stream of perception, is what gives our experience of the present its fluidity and coherence. It's akin to how a filmmaker creates the illusion of continuous motion from a rapid succession of still frames. Our brain, the ultimate editor, blends these frames into the unfolding narrative of our conscious now. This raises fascinating questions about the subjective length of the present. While the objective present is infinitesimally small, a single point without duration, our perceived present has a measurable width. Experiments have shown that our brains integrate sensory information over short intervals to create this sense of a continuous now. For instance, imagine tapping your finger at a steady rhythm. Your brain doesn't register each tap as a completely isolated event. Instead, it groups them into a rhythmic pattern, creating a coherent experience of the beat. This temporal grouping is a fundamental cognitive process, allowing us to perceive melodies from individual notes or fluid motion from a series of static images. The brain actively processes and interprets sequences of information, predicting future states based on past inputs, and, in doing so, creates the illusion of a flowing, immediate present that is always paradoxically slipping away even as it is experienced. It is a constantly updated tapestry, woven from incoming sensory data and internal cognitive models, giving us a stable yet dynamic platform from which to engage with the world. Furthermore, the present moment is profoundly influenced by our attention and emotional state, echoing how our brain subjectively measures duration. When our attention is intensely focused, say, during a meditative practice or a deeply engaging task, the present moment can feel vastly extended, almost timeless. Every detail becomes vivid, every sensation heightened, and the sense of external scent. Time might recede, leaving only the rich tapestry of the now. Conversely, in moments of boredom or anticipation, when our minds are restless and seeking novelty, the present can feel excruciatingly long as we eagerly await the arrival of the next moment to break the monotony. Our emotions also act as powerful temporal modifiers. Fear can condense a terrifying experience into a single, drawn-out eternity, while joy can make minutes disappear in a blur of blissful engagement. These subjective shifts demonstrate that the now is not merely a passive receptacle for objective time, but a dynamic, ever-changing landscape shaped by the interplay of our consciousness, our focus, and our internal emotional environment. Finally, the mysterious nature of the present moment touches upon the deepest questions of quantum mechanics and the nature of reality. If, as some interpretations suggest, reality itself is fluid and uncertain until observed, does our act of conscious observation collapse the wave function into a defined reality in the now? This philosophical rabbit hole leads to profound implications, suggesting that our consciousness might not just experience time, but actively participate in its unfolding, selecting one outcome from a superposition of possibilities. While this remains a subject of intense debate among physicists and philosophers, it highlights the extraordinary link between the eye that perceives and the moment that is perceived. The present, then, is not merely a point on a line, but the dynamic interface where the universe's potential becomes reality, constantly and uniquely within each awakened mind. It is a profound mystery, always unfolding, always fleeting, and always in its essence. A testament to the powerful, creative dance between our consciousness and the very fabric of existence. Having journeyed through the intimate, subjective landscape of time within our own minds and explored its subtle distortions due to relativity and memory, let us now gently broaden our perspective to the grandest possible scale, the cosmos itself. Here, time stretches into unimaginable epochs, dictated by the majestic ballet of galaxies, stars, and the very expansion of the universe. When we contemplate cosmic time, our familiar human timescales shrink into insignificance, revealing a rhythm so vast and profound that it humbles the mind and invites a deep sense of wonder. From the explosive birth of everything to the speculative theories of what lies beyond the edges of our current understanding, the universe offers its own unique, majestic narrative of time's relentless onward flow. Our cosmic journey begins with the Big Bang, a singular, incandescent moment approximately 13.8 billion years ago, which marks the commonly accepted beginning of our universe and, crucially, the beginning of space-time itself. Before this moment, the very concept of time as we understand it becomes deeply problematic, even meaningless within the framework of our current physics. The Big Bang wasn't an explosion in space, but an explosion of space, and simultaneously, the unfolding of time. From that unimaginably dense and hot primordial soup, the universe has been continuously expanding, cooling, and evolving, giving rise to the fundamental forces, the elementary particles, and eventually the first stars and galaxies. This expansion defines the cosmological arrow of time, ensuring that the universe moves from a state of greater density and lower entropy, though still highly concentrated energy, towards one of increasing spaciousness, greater diffusion, and, ultimately, higher disorder. This cosmic progression is not merely a sequence of events, but the very unfolding of time on the grandest scale, leading us from a concentrated past to an ever-expanding future. As the universe matured, its vast, unfathomable timeline began to sculpt itself. For the first few 100,000 years, the universe was too hot for light to travel freely, a cosmic fog. Only after cooling sufficiently did the first photons escape, forming the cosmic microwave background CMB, the faint echo of the Big Bang that permeates space even today. This CMB acts as a snapshot of the universe's infancy, literally the oldest light we can detect, providing a universal clock against which all subsequent cosmic evolution can be measured. Billions of years later, gravity began to pull together, vast clouds of hydrogen and helium igniting the first stars, which then forged the heavier elements necessary for planets and life. Our own Sun, a comparatively young star, formed about 4.6 billion years ago, and Earth shortly after. These stellar life cycles from birth in nebulae to their fiery deaths as supernova represent localized cosmic clocks, each running its course within the larger universal rhythm. The light from distant galaxies, journeying for billions of years to reach us, acts as a cosmic time machine, allowing astronomers to literally gaze into the universe's past, observing events as they occurred eons ago, a profound testament to the light's finite speed and time's vast expanse. The future of cosmic time is just as compelling and perplexing as its past, leading to various speculative theories about the ultimate fate of the universe. If the expansion continues indefinitely, we might face a big freeze or heat death, where the universe becomes so vast and cold that all stars die, All energy is evenly distributed, and entropy reaches its maximum, leaving a cold, dark, and utterly timeless void where no processes can occur. Alternatively, if gravity eventually wins the cosmic tug-of-war, the universe might reverse its expansion and begin to contract, leading to a big crunch, a theoretical reversal back into a singularity, perhaps even setting the stage for a new Big Bang, hinting at a cyclical universe where time might effectively reset or begin anew. Yet another concept, the Big Rip, suggests dark energy could become so dominant that it tears apart galaxies, stars, and eventually even atoms themselves, literally ripping space-time apart. Each of these scenarios offers a different ultimate ending for cosmic time, highlighting that the universe's temporal journey is still a mystery unfolding, a narrative whose final chapters are yet to be written beyond these linear cosmological models. Some theories dare to venture beyond the Big Bang, proposing realms or states of existence where our current understanding of time might not apply at all. Concepts like a multiverse, where our universe is just one of countless others, each potentially with its own unique laws of physics and its own timeline, suggest a meta-time that encompasses these individual universes. Some theoretical physicists explore ideas of timeless quantum states from which our universe's time emerges, or even cyclical models where time itself is an illusion that restarts with each new cosmic cycle. These are realms of pure speculation, where mathematics and philosophy intertwine to push the very boundaries of our comprehension. They remind us that our understanding of time is deeply tied to the physical laws of our universe, and that the ultimate nature of time, whether it's fundamental or emergent, linear or cyclical, finite or infinite, remains one of the deepest and most profound mysteries of existence. These cosmic rhythms, whether vast or infinitesimally small, constantly remind us that our personal moments are but tiny, precious sparks within an incomprehensibly grand and ancient temporal tapestry. As we settle into the gentle rhythms of cosmic time and the profound mysteries of quantum existence, it becomes clear that humanity's relationship with time is not merely one of passive observation, but of active, relentless pursuit. From the earliest whispers of civilization, long before the invention of cogs and gears, humanity has felt an intrinsic, almost primal urge to capture, measure, and delineate the elusive flow of moments. This quest to quantify the unquantifiable has driven some of the most ingenious inventions and profound scientific discoveries, fundamentally shaping our societies, our understanding of the universe, and indeed, our very perception of reality. Our journey through this section will trace this remarkable human endeavor, from the simplest shadows cast upon stone to the unfathomable precision of atoms vibrating in unison, as we sought to harness the immeasurable dot in the dawn of human history. Time was intimately interwoven with the natural world, its passage marked by the grand, predictable cycles of the cosmos. Our ancestors were astronomers by necessity, reading the great celestial clock above them. The earliest forms of timekeeping relied on the most fundamental rhythms, the daily journey of the sun across the sky, painting the passage of hours in shifting light and shadow, the lunar cycle dictating the ebb and flow of tides and the timing of festivals, and the annual progression of the seasons, crucial for agriculture and survival. The invention of the sundial, an ingenious yet simple device, represents one of humanity's first deliberate attempts to formalize this observation. A gnomon, a fixed pointer, cast a shadow that moved across a marked surface, providing a visible, tangible representation of the sun's daily arc. While elegant in its simplicity and deeply connected to nature's rhythm, the sundial had its limitations. It was useless on cloudy days, at night, or indoors. This inherent dependency on external conditions highlighted the need for more versatile methods, pushing early civilizations to seek internal, consistent mechanisms for measuring moments. The pursuit of more consistent timekeeping led to a fascinating array of early devices, each a testament to human ingenuity. Water clocks or clepsydras emerged in ancient Egypt and later refined by the Greeks and Romans. These devices measured time by the steady, controlled flow of water from one vessel to another, often with intricate mechanisms to mark the hours or even trigger alarms. Their advantage lay in their independence from sunlight, making them useful day and night, indoors or out. Similarly, hourglasses using sand flowing through a narrow aperture offered a portable and relatively simple way to measure fixed intervals. Widely adopted on ships and in churches, the invention of incense clocks in ancient China and Japan introduced a fragrant, even meditative, way to mark time, as calibrated incense sticks or coils slowly burned, often indicating specific hours, or signaling the duration of spiritual practices. These diverse inventions, spanning continents and cultures, underscored a universal human yearning to impose order upon the abstract flow of time, to segment it, control it, and align daily life with its passing. The true revolution in timekeeping, however, began with the development of mechanical clocks in medieval Europe roughly around the 13th century. These early masterpieces of intricate clockwork, often towering in church bell towers, were initially imperfect. But they introduced a radical new principle, the use of a regulated, oscillating motion to keep time. The invention of the foliot and verge escapement was a critical breakthrough, allowing for a controlled release of energy that translated into a steady tick. These massive, cumbersome devices gradually evolved into smaller, more precise mechanisms suitable for homes than for personal use. The development of the pendulum clock by Christian Huygens in the 17th century marked another monumental leap, vastly improving accuracy. Based on Galileo's observations of the consistent swing of a pendulum, these clocks were so precise that they finally allowed for accurate measurement of minutes and seconds, transforming scientific experimentation, navigation at sea, and the very organization of daily life. The steady hypnotic swing of a pendulum offered a new, reliable heartbeat for the measurement of moments detached from the sun, sand, or water. The relentless march towards greater precision continued. Driven by the burgeoning demands of science, industry, and global navigation, the invention of the chronometer by John Harrison in the 18th century was a triumph of engineering. Solving the critical problem of accurately determining longitude at sea, this portable, highly accurate clock could withstand the motion of a ship and the vagaries of temperature, allowing mariners to precisely calculate their position by knowing the exact time at a reference point like Greenwich. This quest for mechanical perfection eventually led to the development of incredibly intricate quartz clocks in the 20th century. These devices exploit the piezoelectric properties of quartz crystals, their ability to vibrate at an incredibly stable frequency when an electric current is applied. This consistent vibration, far more stable than any pendulum or gear system, allowed for timekeeping with unprecedented accuracy, enabling modern computing, telecommunications, and countless other technologies that rely on precise synchronization. The humble quartz watch on many wrists today is a direct descendant of this scientific leap, silently reflecting centuries of human dedication to measuring the immeasurable, yet even the remarkable precision of quartz clocks was eventually surpassed. As the human pursuit of time led us into the subatomic realm, culminating in the invention of atomic clocks. These aren't based on mechanical swings or crystal vibrations, but on the unvarying fundamental properties of atoms themselves. Specifically, they utilize the incredibly precise and stable frequency of electromagnetic radiation absorbed or emitted by atoms like cesium or rubidium. When their electrons jump between specific energy levels, these quantum transitions are so incredibly consistent that they provide a universal, unalterable tick against which all other time can be measured. The first atomic clock, built in 1949, opened a new frontier in timekeeping, fundamentally redefining the second itself. Today, the most accurate atomic clocks lose or gain less than 1 second in hundreds of millions of years, making them the ultimate standard for time. They are the silent, constant heartbeat of our interconnected world, underpinning everything from the synchronization of global financial markets to the navigation of interplanetary probes drifting through the silent void. This extraordinary precision allows GPS systems to pinpoint your location with uncanny accuracy, enables the seamless functioning of the Internet, and provides the bedrock for cutting-edge scientific experiments that demand the most precise temporal measurements. It is a profound testament to humanity's relentless curiosity, transforming our understanding of time from a fleeting shadow to an atomic vibration, constantly monitored and harnessed. Here is main content, Section 11, Living in Sync, Societal Time versus Our Internal Pace. Continuing the detailed script for your 2-hour video on the Sleepster channel, The Gentle Distortion of Time. How your brain measures moments while you sleep, continued from previous sections, ... Main content, Section 11, Living in Sync, Societal Time versus Our Internal Pace, having traced humanity's incredible journey from crude sundials to the unparalleled precision of atomic clocks. We arrive at a fascinating, often overlooked, tension. The subtle, yet pervasive conflict between the rigid, synchronized structure of societal time and the fluid, deeply personal rhythm of our own internal biological and psychological clocks. For millennia, human societies have painstakingly built elaborate systems to standardize time, from shared calendars to synchronized hourly schedules, all designed to facilitate commerce, coordination, and collective living. Yet, beneath this veneer of uniformity, each individual carries an innate, deeply personal time signature, often at odds with the relentless demands of the clock. This internal-external conflict is a quiet hum in our daily lives, influencing our stress levels, our well-being, and even our most profound experiences of peace. The very foundation of our modern world is built upon a universally agreed-upon temporal framework. From the synchronized global stock markets that trade across time zones to the precise scheduling of air travel, from the fixed hours of work and school to the synchronized broadcasting of news and entertainment, our lives are meticulously choreographed by the clock. This standardization, a monumental achievement of human cooperation and technological advancement, allows for incredible efficiencies and coordination on a global scale. It enables complex societies to function, millions of people to collaborate, and intricate systems to operate seamlessly. Without this shared external time, the bustling Pakistani city streets, mentioned earlier with the dancing elephant in a rickshaw, would devolve into utter chaos. Trains wouldn't meet their schedules, businesses couldn't operate, and basic societal functions would collapse. This external objective time, measured by precise instruments, becomes the dominant, inescapable rhythm of our collective existence, shaping our routines, our deadlines, and our expectations. However, beneath this meticulously constructed societal facade, each one of us possesses an internal biological clock, primarily governed by the Suprachiasmatic Nucleus (SCN), our circadian rhythm pacemaker. This internal clock dictates our innate propensity for wakefulness and sleep, our peaks of energy and periods of rest, our optimal times for learning or physical activity. Crucially, this internal rhythm varies subtly from person to person. Some are natural arcs, thriving in the early morning hours and winding down by evening, their internal clock naturally attuned to an earlier schedule. Others are quintessential owls, finding their energy and creativity peaking late in the day or during the night, feeling most alive when the world is still. While the SCN generally tries to synchronize with external light cues, Forcing an owl to conform to a strict 9-to-5 workday can lead to a constant state of internal social jet lag, where their biological clock is perpetually out of sync with their societal demands. This misalignment isn't just about feeling tired. It can have profound impacts on mood, metabolic health, and overall well-being, underscoring the deep tension between our innate rhythms and external expectations. Beyond the biological, our subjective perception of time, as we explored earlier, also adds another layer of complexity to this internal-external dynamic. An hour spent in a tedious meeting can feel excruciatingly long, while an hour lost in a captivating conversation with a loved one can vanish in an instant. Yet, the external clock remains unyielding, declaring both intervals to be precisely 60 minutes. This discrepancy between felt time and measured time is a constant companion in modern life. We rush through moments we wish would linger and endure moments we long to escape, all while the external clock marches forward with dispassionate regularity. This can lead to a sense of disconnect, a feeling that our personal experience is out of step with the relentless pace imposed by society. The pressure to manage time often becomes a struggle against our own cognitive and emotional biases, rather than a simple adherence to a schedule. We feel guilty for perceived wasted moments, or anxious about running out of time, all because our internal meter isn't aligning with the external ticking. The digital age, ironically, has both exacerbated and, in some ways, highlighted this tension. While technology offers unprecedented tools for scheduling and synchronization, it also creates an always-on culture that can further erode our ability to listen to our internal pace. Notifications demand immediate attention, emails pile up, regardless of our energy levels, and the global, interconnected nature of work means that the workday never truly ends across all time zones. This relentless pressure to be constantly available and productive, driven by the synchronized pulse of global commerce, can make it incredibly challenging to disengage and allow our biological clocks to operate naturally. The internal urge to rest, to engage in deep, unstructured thought, or simply to exist without external demands, often collides with the external expectation of perpetual motion. Finding moments of time freedom within such a structured existence becomes a deliberate act of resistance, a conscious effort to reclaim our natural temporal sovereignty. Ultimately, living in sync with both societal demands and our internal pace requires a delicate, conscious balance. It's about recognizing that while the external clock provides the essential framework for our collective world, our personal experience of time, our health, and our well-being are deeply rooted in our innate biological rhythms and subjective perceptions. It's about finding moments, even small ones, to step away from the relentless tick-tock, to allow ourselves to be fully present in a slow moment, or to honor our body's natural calls for rest and activity. In learning to listen to the whispers of our internal timekeepers, we can begin to cultivate a more harmonious relationship with time itself, transforming it from a rigid master into a gentle guide. This intentional alignment fosters a deeper sense of peace, allowing us to navigate the demands of the world while nurturing the unique, personal rhythm that defines our truest self. Here is main content section 12, the timelessness of sleep, releasing control and embracing the flow, completing the main content for your 2-hour video on the Sleepster channel. This section will serve as a gentle culmination of our journey through time, linking back to the profound experience of sleep, the gentle distortion of time, how your brain measures moments while you sleep, continued from previous sections. Closing, parenthesis, main content section 12, the timelessness of sleep, releasing control and embracing the flow, having journeyed through the intricate dance of time. From the cosmic ballet to the quantum flicker, from our internal chronometers to the societal clock, we arrive, finally, at the most profound and perhaps most accessible realm, where time truly seems to yield its relentless grip, the deep, restorative embrace of sleep. In this sacred, nightly ritual, we are invited to release the conscious mind's ceaseless attempts to control, measure, and define every fleeting moment, allowing ourselves to gently surrender to a different, more ancient flow. Sleep, in its essence, is an act of profound trust, a daily practice in letting go, where the very fabric of our temporal perception becomes fluid, elastic, and, in many ways, beautifully timeless. It is here, in the quietude of unconsciousness, that we truly embrace the flow, allowing our minds and bodies to operate on a rhythm dictated not by external demands, but by the intrinsic wisdom of life itself. Consider the immense pressure of living in a world constantly measured by clocks, deadlines, and schedules. Our waking lives are often a relentless pursuit of efficiency, optimization, and the meticulous management of minutes. We plan, we organize, we strive to utilize every available moment, often feeling a subtle anxiety about wasting time or falling behind. This constant mental engagement with external time can leave us feeling perpetually hurried, even when physically at rest. Sleep offers the ultimate reprieve from this temporal tyranny. As we drift into its deepening stages, the brain's activity shifts and our conscious awareness of linear progression diminishes. The precise external markers of seconds, minutes, and hours become less relevant as our internal world takes precedence, engaging in its own vital processes of repair, consolidation, and imaginative play, unburdened by the linear demands of daylight. It is a profound liberation, a nightly ritual of stepping outside the temporal stream that so dominates our waking hours. In this state of profound release, sleep provides a unique laboratory for temporal experience. As we explored earlier, dream time can compress or expand, allowing for experiences that defy the waking clock. But beyond dreams, the very experience of deep non-REM sleep often feels like a vast, unbroken expanse of nothingness. You enter sleep, and then, seemingly instantaneously, you emerge from it, hours later, without any conscious recollection of the intervening moments. This subjective temporal void underscores sleep's profound detachment from linear time. Not that time stops, but rather that our awareness of its passage dissolves. This timelessness is restorative, allowing the mind to detach from the relentless forward momentum of waking life, to process, to heal, and to simply be in a way that active consciousness rarely permits. It's a fundamental aspect of sleep's rejuvenating power. It's offering a profound sense of respite and renewal that a mere pause in activity cannot provide. The ancient wisdom traditions, across cultures and millennia, have long recognized the profound significance of this nightly surrender to timelessness. Many spiritual practices emphasize detaching from the ego's grip, from the relentless pursuit of goals, and from the anxieties tied to future outcomes or past regrets. Sleep, in this context, becomes a natural, involuntary form of such detachment. Each night, we are compelled to relinquish control, to trust in the body's innate wisdom, and to simply let go. This forced surrender, repeated consistently, cultivates a deeper sense of peace and acceptance within us. We learn, subconsciously, that the world continues without our constant conscious vigilance, that moments will unfold whether we are actively counting them or not. This quiet, unconscious lesson in releasing control is a powerful antidote to the hypertemporal demands of modern life, reminding us that true well-being often lies not in rigid adherence to the clock, but in a flexible responsiveness to our deepest, most authentic rhythms. Embracing the flow of sleep, then, is about more than just physical rest. It is about harmonizing our personal time with the universal rhythm of being. It involves trusting that our internal biological clocks, fine-tuned over millennia, will guide us through the necessary cycles of rest and activity. It means allowing our subjective experience of time to be elastic, to expand in moments of deep, presence, and to compress during necessary periods of unconscious processing. In this acceptance, we find a profound peace, knowing that time, in its various manifestations, is always flowing, always carrying us forward, whether we are counting its ticks or lost in its vast, silent expanse. This nightly renewal reminds us that even when the outside world is chaotic or demanding, there is always an inner sanctuary, a realm where time can stretch and bend, where moments are felt rather than merely measured, and where the self can simply rest in the boundless unfolding of existence. As the day slows and your breath softens into an easy, gentle rhythm, let the thought of time's infinite distortions, its cosmic dance, and its profound stillness in sleep settle around you like a soft, enveloping blanket. Know that your mind, even in its quietest, most unconscious moments, is a profound and wondrous mechanism, capable of traversing vast temporal landscapes. May your dreams be full of limitless space and boundless peace, of moments that stretch and flow as they should, untethered by the rigid expectations of the waking world. You are made of these same universal rhythms, a tiny, precious reflection of the cosmos's own temporal symphony. Sleep well, fellow traveler of time and dreams. May you wake tomorrow feeling utterly refreshed, renewed, and ready for whatever beautiful moments await you. Good night from Sleepster.